Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, an inspirational podcast about the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good evening. Whatever time you're listening to this podcast, I appreciate you listening and chiming in and just paying attention to me and a microphone and everything else. So thank you so much for being here. It's another episode of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano. And I'm here because I just came off a really, really amazing weekend. So this is all the way from back on Thursday till now. So I'm going to kind of fill you in on the whole scenario and fill you in on the situation. But I'm also going to fill you in on things that we learned, things that we were able to pull out, extrapolate, and all those good things from the whole entire weekend and the whole entire time that we were down there. So let me get started. All right, so last Wednesday or Thursday, and of course, this is the first episode I've done in a little bit, so I appreciate you guys listening and being patient, and patrons still continuing to donate to the show. I appreciate you. If you are interested in becoming a patron of the show, you can go to www.patreon.com/liquidcoffeetalk and sign up there for the different type of membership you can sign up for, where you can actually sign up for some tchotchkes, some merchandise, all kinds of different stuff. So anyway, so thank you to all my patrons. I appreciate you so much. And to all those that subscribe on TikTok and through YouTube and everything else, it is very appreciated. Okay, so last Thursday or so, the wife, my son, and I decided to get in the car, and we're going to drive down to Virginia Beach, Virginia, to go visit our family. And so we get in the car, and we start driving, and we head all the way down, long drive, right? We had a bunch of traffic and a bunch of stuff going on. But I knew that the purpose of me heading down there was for multiple reasons, but the most important reasons were the fact that we were going to celebrate in my son's graduation. Yes, that's right, graduating. I don't know how to even comprehend that situation. We were also going down there to celebrate his birthday, his 18th birthday. Again, unbelievable as time flies, and here we are that he's 18 years old and he's graduating. We were also there to celebrate my niece Alana's graduation as well. So they both were born about 6 months apart from each other back in the day in 2005, and here we are, right? So we're going to go down there. We're going to go chill out with family. We're going to go do the things that we have to do to be just part of everything, and it was really, really good to be able to put something together that we can go down there and be with my stepmother, who lives in Virginia Beach, and my sister and my brother-in-law, and all kinds of family and friends that came in for the different graduation parties and things like that. So that was the purpose of why we were heading down. So like I said, on Thursday, early morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, we get in the car, off we go. We're driving all the way down. So during the time, I'm asking my son a couple questions here and there and just kind of getting his feel for everything. Because if you don't know, this last year to year and a half has been really difficult for our family. You know, my son got into some trouble at school, but also met some wrong people at school, some people that were not necessarily friendly. And so the bullying, the fighting, all that good stuff had to happen. So we actually pulled him out his senior year, and we went all online classes, which, by the way, in and of itself is pretty amazing, because he went from getting D's and sometimes even almost failing to B's and A's on the online courses. And he's set to graduate here and be good to go. So after all the stuff that we've been through for the last year and a half, all the things that he's been through, he's been pretty much trapped in the house with his parents, stuck here doing the things that we have to do just for legal reasons and all kinds of other stuff that was going on. We came together as a family and knew that we were going to be able to push through any kind of adversity whatsoever together, one-on-one, together, all three of us, and we're going to do whatever it takes to be able to make things happen. Now, this is all good, fine and good and all that good stuff, but the thing about it is this. When you go through things like that, when you go through adversity, you go through all these different challenges that we've been through, and I know every single person that's listening to this podcast right now has been through some challenges, right? You've been through ups and downs, overs and unders. You've been through bad times, good times. Probably you remember the bad times more than anything else, because we learn from those and we go through a lot, and we become champions, and we put on our warrior outfit, and we put on all of our armor, and we're out there trying to fight the good fight, right? So we've all been there. We've all been through the ringer at times. And then we've all asked the questions of, man, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do things that I know I'm a good person? I mean, I strive to be kind to anybody that I can, but why would this happen to me and my family, right? So we ask those questions, we go through all that stuff, but now we're on a little bit more of the upswing a little bit, right? We hit the doldrums, we hit the bottom of the barrel, and we stayed focused and true to who we are, and we stayed kind and stayed friendly and all these things of all the different situations that we were a part of, and we were through the ringer, right? We were in courtrooms and all kinds of different stuff that was going on, so that it's just kind of the dynamic of where we were. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, and we did. We kept on pushing forward, and we kept on doing the things that are necessary for us to be great and continue to move forward and excel and those kind of things. So again, here I am. That's more of a reflection point, right? So I'm driving down. We're driving to Virginia, and a lot of the tough stuff that we had just been through is kind of behind us a little bit, but it's still there. We still got some things that are facing us. But as we're driving down, I'm asking the questions more around, hey, how you feeling? Where are you at mentally? Where are you at after all the things that we've been through, the conditions that you suffer from, all those different things? How are you feeling, and where are you at with everything? And he was very honest with me to say that I don't think I would have ever graduated if we didn't pull me out of my senior year and get me out of a toxic environment and do the things that I had to do. And he also talked a little bit about just, navigating the space that we're in and navigating the space that I'm living in right now. And he's probably going to take a gap year and go into whatever trades, or maybe even dabble a little bit in college or whatever it is. It's up to him, right? I'm not going to force him into anything, because I don't feel that that's very healthy to force somebody into something that they may not want to do. And the next thing you know, they feel like they're committed, or they have to be committed to doing all the things that you ask them to do, right? So we challenge people to be, fit the mold of what society sets out for them to be. And that's the purpose of this podcast. The purpose of the podcast is, here I am asking my son questions about what he wants to do and where we're at and how he feels about everything. And he kept saying to me, we're going to live in the moment. We're here right now. This is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm at. Probably take a gap year, try to put some money together, save up a little bit for college, or do something like, sports medicine or something like that, or even just get into the trades and start working and really start to just kind of grind it out and do the things that I want to do and make music and all this other stuff that he wants to do and likes to do, right? So that's not the normal pattern. I'm looking at all these other kids that are graduating their high school, what schools they've committed to, what scholarships they might have gotten, all these different things, this typical pattern that you fall into, because that's what it's supposed to be. When in all actuality, as we all know, the amount of student loan debt that people fall into if they don't have full ride scholarships is pretty high and hefty, right? So that's what they're faced with. That's what these kids are faced with. So at the end of the day, when he says he wants to take a gap year because he wants to figure things out, I'm okay with that, right? That may go against the norm of what typical kids would do when they're committing to colleges, they're getting things ready, they get ready to go live in the dorms and have roommates and all that stuff. And some people aren't wired for that or want to do that at that moment in time, but they're forced to do it because the family says you have to, or the mom and dad say this is what you're going to do and this is what we worked our way up to. And I know you don't want to, but you're going to regret it later if you don't. Well, how do we know that? How do we know if we're going to regret it later if we don't? How do we know that a gap year is not perfectly good for someone's mental health after they've been through this many years of schooling and all of a sudden they want to take a little bit of a break because, school's hard or school is tough, right? And I know it's all about overcoming adversity and doing the things that we have to do and accomplishing the things that, you want to be able to accomplish, and don't be afraid of things, run into things and go after it, right? Go after it. Seize the day, go after it, all that stuff. And that's some of the stuff that I talk about on the podcast a lot of times. But in the situation where it comes to this, it really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, where there's a couple things that we were able to extrapolate and pull out as we were at graduation parties and we were with family and everything else down there. One of the things is to do what you love. We often in life go down this road of accepting things for what they are because that's what the normal societal thing is telling us to do. So if you have a job that you don't like, we accept it because, it pays okay and it's good to go. I need some stability. I've been here for a while. I'm just going to keep on going and keep on trucking instead of going, what do I really want to do? And how can I go and accomplish things that I love to do, that I'm passionate about doing, and the things that I really, really am that puts a smile on my face. It fills my heart. It fills my cup, all those things. Why aren't I going for those things? right? Because we settle. We settle for things that people in society and the typical, I don't know, cookie cutter view of life is exactly what that is. And we look at those things and we judge ourselves based on what society tells us we need to be. Well, that's BS and that's hokey. Let's just be honest here. Now, I fell into that trap many times. What should I be doing? I worked for the same company for 16 years. 16 years I worked for the same company. I worked my way up to area manager. I was making really good money and all that stuff. And then they let me go due to downsizing, due to cuts and all this other stuff. Now, did it hurt my ego? 100%. Did it also scare the crap out of me? Yes, because this is what I just imagined was going to be. But what I realized after all that time and all those things and all that energy and all that time spent and all those things that I was trying to be able to push forward, I wasn't doing anything along the lines of what I really wanted to do, what I was passionate about, whether it's podcasting or whether it's traveling or whether it's spending time with the family or all the things that I love to do in life. I wasn't doing any of them, because I was so fixated on being on the road, doing the things I have to do, grind it out, get the sales, go after everything, do what you have to do, and et cetera, because the paychecks were good and the vacation time was good as well, right? So I could do some family time with those kind of things. But in all actuality, I was unhappy and I didn't even realize it. Because I was doing what everybody thought I should be doing. I was doing what society said that I should do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we tend to fall into these traps of doing things that other people say we should do based on their opinions or their experiences in life or whatever, or what they got out of a book or what they see on the internet or whatever else. And they preach to you and they judge you and they push you forward and say, this is what you need to do, no matter what point in life you're at. So my kid's, 18 years old, and he's got people going, what are you going to do in life? What are you going to do with college? Where are you going to college? All those things. So those questions got uncomfortable because he's like, I just want to take a gap year. I don't want to do what everybody tells me I have to do right now because I don't feel it's right for me. And this is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to keep moving forward. So why not? Why can't we live in that space of actually doing something that we love and want to do? It's so interesting and it's so odd to me that we live our lives for other individuals rather than ourselves because we want to make them happy. We want to impress them. We want to do all these different things. We don't want anybody to be mad at us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are in the same boat as adults. You, me, whoever else. If you're sitting here listening to this podcast right now and you are not happy with your job, you're not happy with the things that are going on, or maybe you think you're happy, but when you really take inventory and you take a look at it, are you really happy? Are you really living life to the fullest? Are you really taking advantage of the things around you and doing the things that you need to do to make you happy, your family happy, or anybody around you? Are you really doing the things that you want to do in life? I would say probably 75% of the people listening to this podcast right now are not doing that. They're not. They're settling. They're accepting mediocrity. They're accepting the less than because this is just the avenue it's supposed to take. The things that we're supposed to do, the way that we're supposed to be, the way I'm supposed to act, the way I'm supposed to feel, all those things, left and right, over, under, all the time. This is the space that we live in. So why is that? Why do we live in the space where we accept that and we don't actually pull the trigger of doing the things that we want to do? And here's the other thing. The other thing is we sit back and we try to look at that. Maybe we do take inventory. Maybe we do try to make some changes towards doing some of the things that we love to do, right? Maybe we make adjustments or we pivot a little bit, which is great, right? You're trying to be able to work towards it. But some people feel it's too late in my life. I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 50s. I'm in my 60s. I'm already well past that part. Well, that's BS and hokey too. Because you can do whatever you set your mind to and your heart to. And if you're really passionate about it, you're going to go for it no matter what. So if you're in your 50s, which I soon will be in the month of August, where I'll be turning the big 5-0. But if you're in your 50s, you got another 30 some odd years left to go, man. Let's go. Do the things you want to do in life. Experience the things you want to do in life. Don't settle for cookie cutter things that are handed to you or painted for you, or that you've read in books, that the way life should be, it's just the way that life should be. This is the way it should go, and never challenging the status quo, and never doing things opposite of what people tell you that you need to do. So when my son says, I want to take a gap year and I want to figure things out and I want to put some money together and I want to maybe buy a car or even put some money together for a little bit of college if I want to take some courses or whatever else, against everything else that every single other person says to him outside of his immediate family, because we support him no matter what it is. And I've had those eye-opening experiences where I think like my father, and I'm like, listen, you got to do something. You got to have a direction. You got to have a focus. Well, at this moment, in right here and right now, he feels that the gap year is going to be the best for him. He can produce music. He can write music. He can do different things. He can work and build some funds together, do the things that he wanted to do as a teenager that he's missed out on in the last year because he's been stuck inside the house because of all the legal troubles I was talking about earlier. So there's many, many different opportunities for him to be able to experience life and do the things that he has to do and do it in a healthy fashion and be able to have fun with it. But instead, all this pressure comes down around what school are you going to, what college are you going to, what courses are you taking, what's happening. All your friends are leaving. Your best friends are all going to colleges. You're traveling out of state. They're taking off. They're doing the things they're going to do. And you're literally just here going, well, this is just what I want to do. Oh, man, are you really? Like, you're not even going to try to go to school? I mean, you're fresh out of high school and everything else? No. Listen, when I joined the military, I was 17 years old. I joined through a delayed entry program, which is, a program that you can go into. You can kind of do some of the workouts and some of the training aspect of it to be able to work yourself up to where you can be. So when you enter into basic training or boot camp, you're ready to go, right? Whether that's losing some extra pounds, whether that's adding some time to your runs, whether that's getting things ready for you to be able to do so. At 17 years old, I was then, at 17 in August, 18. I was 18 in August, and I was already being shipped out to basic training in the month of August. So I was 17 years old heading to boot camp. Now, did I want to join the military? Not really. I mean, my whole family's in the military. My dad was Navy. My stepmother's Navy. My uncle's Army, and I got a bunch of other family members that are grandparents and everybody else. They're all military, and aunt is Army, and all this other stuff, right? So I get it. I get the whole thing. But listen, again, we're talking about the pattern that you follow based on what you think is normal, based on what people tell you is normal. That was normal to us. Military was normal to us. So I really didn't want to go in the military, but I went in the military for a couple reasons, right? One of them was I wasn't ready for college. I just wasn't. I wasn't ready to hunker down and try to be able to get my schoolwork done, and knowing that I'm going to be party time and all that other stuff that's going on as an 18-year-old. I'm ready to party. I'm ready to do my things. But my father knew better. And he said to me, I'm not going to pay for your college, but you got to either get a job or you got to go do something or join the military. So quickest route, I said, that's it. I'm going to join the military. We're going to do what I got to do. Now, I'm the man I am today because of my military experience that I had, right? I'm the man that I am today. I thank my good cookies for the fact that I had the military in my life to be able to straighten me out, make sure that I'm good to go and all those things. But do I regret doing it? Yeah, a little. Not because I saw the world, 48 countries that I visited throughout the whole entire time, through all med cruises and wartime situations and the people that I met and all those things. Those are all great experiences. But would I have rather had at 17, 18 years old, joined college or gone to college and experienced that part of it? Yeah, probably, right? And I never really put my foot down. I never really made a decision to go and do that because it wasn't the norm. The norm in our family was go in the military. There wasn't a single person that had a degree. There wasn't a single person. It was all on-the-job training. It was all military and everything else. Nobody had degrees in colleges. Nobody had that. So that was their normal. And their normal was they were telling me this is what you got to do. So I did it. Now, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. Some good things that came out of it, some bad things. But I wish that I had done other things at a young age. I wish that I had experienced the world as a civilian, or maybe gone and done some things that I was more passionate about, whether it's my artwork or cartoons or whatever else I'm trying to, that I feel like I'm talented at doing, that I kind of pushed and shelved due to the fact that the next 11 years I was in the military traveling around the world and in war situations and whatever else. So it's very similar to my son. How can I go to my son and say, hey, you need to be in the military? Well, he doesn't want to join the military. Or, hey, you need to go to college. Well, He wants to step away from studying courses right now. It's not in his wheelhouse right now. Now, my son's not lazy whatsoever, if you're thinking that, because he works. He works pretty much a full-time job, and then he's also picked up 2 or 3 other jobs trying to just put some money together, whether it's for spending or buying things or whether it's putting money away. So he's a hard worker, and he's an individual that wants to go out there and do what he has to do. Now, is he 17 and 18? Yes, he's a teenager, and I get all that, right? And that's what dads are here for. We're going to try to be able to mold them and guide them and give them rails that they can stay safe on and all those good things in life, and et cetera, et cetera. And here I am doing that with him. But I'm also supportive of him because I have a different lens that I'm looking through now. The lens that I'm looking through is live life to the fullest. I believe wholeheartedly we're on this earth for a really short amount of time, right? In the grand scheme of things, in the great, huge dynamic of where we're at in the world, we're on this earth for a sliver of time. So why not maximize it while you're here? And the fact that we don't really know what direction the world's going in, the economy, politics, world events, everything else, weather, all the things that we're faced with in society. Who knows how long we're going to be here? So live life to the fullest. Do the things that you've always wanted to do. So for him, being a really young age, I fully support the fact that you want to be able to make music and you want to be able to do the things and get really good at what you do and hone your craft. And he's a super smart guy and all those different things. If you want to go into trades, great, let's do that. If you want to go into college eventually, sure, let's do that too. But you want to do a gap year, okay. Instead of always fighting against what people are asking to do or want to do, or how many times have you gone to somebody and said, this is what I want to do in my life, or this is what I want to experience? And how many negative people do you have around you that say, yeah, why are you doing that? That has no focus, no direction, or, you're going to get hurt that way, or whatever it is that you're working on or that you're passionate about, you want to be able to be there for. You have all these doubters and these people, these naysayers. Why are they doubting you? And why are they naysaying against you? Because they don't get it. It's not the normal for them. They've always gone down a path of doing things a certain way. Now, is that way the right way for you? Maybe not. Was it the right way for them? Maybe. But at the end of the day, just because it was right for them doesn't mean it was right for you. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, you got both ears on and you're listening to it. Live life to the fullest. Make some choices that make you happy rather than what other people are telling you to do. Make some choices that make you happy, even if it's risky and you're going to put yourself out there and you're literally thinking to yourself, I don't want to lose this job or I don't want to be out of this relationship because it's comfortable, but it's also not making me happy. I'm not in a good spot with this relationship or with this job or with this whole entire situation that I'm a part of, but I'm accepting it for what it is because everybody tells me this is what I have to do and all those things. When at the end of the day, if you're listening to this podcast right now, make this a call to action for you to do the things that you love to do. Now, by doing the things that you love to do doesn't mean you have to go quit your job. Doesn't mean you have to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or get a divorce or anything like that. What it means is to just look through things in a different lens. Just take a look at the situation and think to yourself, am I happy? Because if I'm not happy or I'm not fully happy, maybe I'm kind of happy, but if I'm not fully happy and I'm not feeling like I'm engaged with life and all those things, first of all, start to set a new path. It doesn't have to be overnight. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to freak out and make rash decisions or anything like that. But what you can do is to start to make little changes in your life towards doing the things that you want to do, no matter how hard those changes may be, and no matter how difficult that they may seem, or no matter how many people are going to come to you and tell you you shouldn't do it. But at the end of the day, what's going to make you happy? Don't we deserve to be happy? I think we all do. Every one of us deserves a good relationship. Every one of us deserves to be healthy. Every one of us deserves to be happy. Every one of us deserves good things in our lives. But you know what happens is we accept all the things that are bad in our lives as normal. And so whenever any good thing happens, we're like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. What's this all about? I'm humble. I'm this, that, and the other. Well, then you know what? Accept the things that are good that are happening to you and embrace it and move forward and learn from it. And let's have fun and do the things you have to do. Whatever happened to having fun? In society these days, everything's so political and so religious-based and so just upside down that at the end of the day, when you're hearing people talk negative and talk negative and talk negative and talk negative, guess what? You start to talk negative and talk negative and talk negative. Instead of changing the narrative and doing things that you love to do because you love to do it. You know how many people have told me in my time of doing these little avatars and giving money back to society and just donating from at first when I was doing the avatars, I was doing 100% proceeds, but now I do half commission, half giving back. And when I go to give back, I caught so much hell for different reasons. One of them was people said, well, you're recording giving these tips, so you're just looking for clout and you want whatever. Okay, great. Then the other thing is that, you could have probably made that like a regular income if you do the artwork and you actually charge what you're worth and blah, 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 all this different stuff. But they're forgetting the concept. The concept was it makes me happy to make other people happy along with myself. So when I drew an avatar for somebody, I had to put all this time and energy into this little avatar, this little cartoon character that I was making for somebody to place on all their profiles, which I'm still doing, by the way. If you're interested, email me or message me. But I'm making this profile for somebody to feel good about themselves. They look at themselves and they say, wow, I look really beautiful. I look really pretty. I look handsome. I look like the man or whatever else, right? So I made that person feel good. Then they paid me for the services. So I then take that money and I pay it forward to somebody else that's out there that might need it. Maybe it's a homeless individual. Maybe it's a server or a bartender, somebody that's struggling or down on their luck, or I'm going to a shelter to be able to help out with those kind of things with some funds and some clothes and whatever else. I spend the money on other people so that they could feel somewhat happy in a moment of darkness or a moment of time of strife and times that are tough, right? So I made the person feel happy that received the avatar, and then I make the person feel happy that's receiving whatever the gift is that I'm trying to bring to the table. And then guess what? I'm killing 3 birds with one stone because then I feel happy. I feel happy. I feel good about myself because I've done something for 2 other individuals at this moment in time in one swoop, one action. And that makes me happy. So when people come to me and say, well, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, or why are you doing it this way, or what are you doing that way? Who the F cares? If I'm happy doing it, I don't care anymore. I don't. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because it makes me happy. If I'm going to raise my kid the way that I want to raise my kid against all norms of all these other people that are saying you should do it this way and you should do it that way and you need to lay the hammer down and do the things you have to do and be more of a parent and all those things. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, we're going to raise our kid the way that we want to raise our kid because it makes us happy. And we're going to be a happy unit as a family to be able to move that forward and support him and keep on lifting him up and encouraging him to do the same with his life and everything else in general. Is that selfish? Maybe. For me to want to be happy? No, it's not selfish. Let's just stop kidding around about that. You deserve to be happy, and so do I. So if you make the attempt to do the things that are necessary for you to be happy, if you make the attempt to start to change the way that you're looking at things, look through a different lens, do a different thing, have a different attitude, surround yourself with people that are going to support you rather than the people that try to break you down all the time, which we all have those in our lives, whether they're in our family or our friends, whatever it takes. We've got them. All of us have them. We're all in this position where we are. And we all have that one friend, that one family member that's just so negative. Oh, my God. You tried to lose weight 20 times. You're going to get really fat again like you always do. You tried running once before, but you blew your knee out, and you're never going to be able to do it again. So what are you trying it for? You go on all these little trips. Why don't you get back to doing the responsible thing and go back to work 85 hours a week and not have to do all these things that we have. We have people all around us that do that. And when we hear that enough, it starts to like sink in our brains. And then we sit back and we go, oh, that's right. They're right. They're being sensible. Are they being sensible? No, they're just being negative Nancy's. And as a matter of fact, they're probably complaining about it because they want to live the life that you're living at that moment in time. They want to go on those trips and they want to lose the weight and they're not feeling good about themselves. So they try to break you down. Or it's just what they believe. And if you believe in something, oh boy, Oh boy, you got to tell everybody in the whole entire world what your beliefs are. And you got to say you're wrong for not believing the same way that I do. And you're wrong for not being the same way that I am. And I'm right and you're wrong. Well, at the end of the day, if you're going to do something that's going to make you happy with your life, with your family, with your attitude, and everything in this short amount of time we're living on this earth, if you're going to do that, bravo, my friend. Bravo. Because you're going against the grain, but you're also doing it for the right reasons. You should be proud of the journey that you've been on so far. Everything that you've been through so far has led to this moment. And if this moment is a deciding moment as you're listening to this podcast right now, to say, I can do something that I really want to do. I can lose the weight that I want to and be a new person and try to be able to focus on just being healthy so I'm not winded walking to the mailbox or anything like that. Whatever it is that you're deciding to do, whatever it is that you want to do, I can write that book. All these people tell me that you're not a very good writer. Well, I can write that novel. I can write that book, that biography. I can do this artwork. I can do this, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to continue to move forward because it makes me happy. And I don't care what other people think about me. Right now, it makes me happy, and this is what I'm going to do. So of all the things that I talked about on this podcast right now, my son, the graduations, the parties, all that stuff, if you're listening to me right now, use this as a call to action for you. You deserve it. You deserve to be able to put the work in. You deserve to be able to be happy in your life, whether you think you are deserving of it or not. Let me tell you right now that you are. You are deserving of everything that's out there for you to be able to grab onto. You're deserving of it. Whether you have low self-esteem or not, you deserve it. So go grab it. Put all the other negatives aside. If something's blocking you in the way of you being happy, you need to get that blocker and push that out of the way. Get it out of the way. Don't think of it as a deterrent. Think of it as a little bump you got to go over to get to where you got to get to, and then squash that bump when you walk by it. That little anthill doesn't need to be growing anymore, because at the end of the day, if you're going for something that you want to be happy with, and you are happy in general, your life is going to be so much better, and the people around you's lives are going to be so much better. And then you're going to start surrounding people with, I believe, I've seen him. He literally is living his dream. So go out and do it, guys. Stop hesitating. Stop taking the risk. Stop not taking the risk. Sorry about that. Stop not taking risks, because you have to take risks to get to where you want to get to. And if where you want to get to can make you happy, then we'll all be better off for it. Okay? Much love to you all. I appreciate you so much. And remember, go for your dreams when you have to, because you deserve it. All right? We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please do us a favor and leave feedback and a 5-star rating on whatever platform that you use.